Hey everyone, okay, so I am starting a new vlog. Today is November 3rd, it is Sunday, and yes, I haven't updated y'all in 3 days, and that would be because I have literally read nothing. I've gotten busy and I was doing a lot of things and I was learning. Like, look guys, I am completely new to this whole booktube thing, as you all know, but I've never edited videos before, and I am literally just trying to teach myself as I go along. It is not easy at all, but I am trying. I'm trying to get used to being in front of a camera and just talking to you guys. Hopefully you will see that I am improving. At least I hope I am. I think I am. But I'm new to this, and so it's taking me a while. It took me a couple of days just to learn how to do thumbnails and, just the basic editing stuff. And that's what I was doing over the weekend, was working on that. And I literally have read nothing. Well, actually, that's a lie. Today I started the audiobook of One True Mate, and I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know who that's by. It's a new to me author. It is a Where Shifter series, and it's pretty good. Not a 5-star book, maybe a solid 3.5, 4-star. Like I've enjoyed it. I think I'm about halfway, or maybe a little more than halfway through it already. But I listen to books at 2.5 times the speed, and so if you want to know more about my reading habits, I can definitely do a video on that. I'm wanting to go ahead and start War by Laura Thalassa. Like I said, Pestilence. I still can't pronounce that name. Good Lord. Pestilence by Laura Thalassa was such a good book that I immediately want to jump into War. And I just haven't yet. But the next 3 weeks, I'm not working as much as I normally would be. So hopefully I will have more time to read. I've got 3-day weekends. I am so excited. Okay, so why I wanted to do this though real quickly is I wanted to talk to you guys about an idea that I had. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it and just see how it goes. But I am a soap maker. I have my own Etsy shop. I make bath and body products. I know how to make like bath bombs and lotion and lip balm. And I mean, I went all out several years ago and decided to start making it. And I make a lot of soap though. Soap is my forte. I make cold processed soap, which means literally putting in oils and mixing that with lye to make soap. And I have really thought about this idea. So I am, as you know, books are my true love, my first love. It's never gonna change. But what if I started reading books that have scent descriptions? Like I know for sure Black Dagger Brotherhood does, and I'm sure plenty of contemporary romance books do. They'll have the scent descriptions of the main guy and the main girl and what they smell like. What if I was to create my own blend of what is said in the books as a scent description and made that into a soap, and I maybe made the soap for you guys and showed you how it was done and talked about my thought process in it in the book? I think that would be a really neat kind of new idea that I haven't ever really seen done before. So that is something that I've been contemplating this week, and hopefully in the next couple of days I can go ahead and make one and just kind of see how it goes and see if you guys like it, if it's something that you all would be interested in. All right, so today is Monday the 4th. I dropped my dogs off at the groomers this morning, 3 of them anyway, and I am now at Goodwill. I'm in the parking lot. I'm gonna go in. This is one of my favorite places to go look at books. I've got 2 local Goodwills that I go to, plus I go to Half Price Books. Those are mainly the 3 places that I go in actually get books at. Other than that, I go to Amazon or Thrift Books or Book Outlet sometimes. but I really enjoy going to all of my secondhand bookstores. To me, that is the way to go whenever it comes to finding romance books. So I figured I would bring y'all along. I'm going to maybe vlog a little bit of this, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, store number one was a little bit of a bust. I did get one book called Lemongrass and Limes. Really, that's all there was. There was a lot of Christian books and different things, and you know, this is Oklahoma. We're right in the middle of the Bible Belt, so that's to be expected. It's just not really my type of books. So, off to the next one. Tobe, Mr. Bear. Toby. There you are. Good boy. Okay, so I finished 2 books this week so far, both by the same author. Her name is Julie Trettel, I believe is how you say that. One of them is One True Mate, and the other one is Fighting Destiny. This is like a wear shifter series. It's a really quick listen. It's kind of, it's a typical cliche werewolf type book. It wasn't any kind of thing special, but it's a neat little series that helps me to pass the time. I'm really enjoying it. I've given them both 4 stars. I am now starting Frederick Backman's Beartown, and the first chapter started out with a bang, literally, and since then it has kind of slowed down and it's a little boring now. I just went to Sprint. That's actually where I'm at right now. I had to go have them put on a new screen protector on my iPhone. I am going to Half Price Books, hopefully, so I will take y'all along with me. Change of plans. Okay, so I decided to go to my local Value Village. So, it is the next day, which means it is Wednesday? Yes. Today is Wednesday, the 5th? 6th? I don't know. It's either the 5th or 6th of November. And I went to Value Village yesterday. I was going to go to Half Price Books and I didn't make it because it is like 30 minutes away and I just didn't feel like driving all the way over there. I will say that I did pick up a couple of books over at Value Village. The first one being The Arrangement by Ashley Warlick. This looks pretty interesting. It is a story based in the 1920s, I believe it is. No, 1934. And it is about a woman who is married and wants to either have an affair or a threesome with another guy. So that sounds interesting to me. Then I picked up You Can't Make This Stuff Up by Teresa Caputo. I really like her show, and this book was signed by the author, and I got it for $1.98. So went ahead and picked those 2 up. And then I got a couple of books from Thrift Books. I got M. Layton's There's Wild Then There's You. This is the 3rd book in the series. I have the 2nd one as well. I don't have the 1st one yet. And then I picked up Audrey Carlin's January, February, and March. I believe this is 3 books in 1. And this author is going to be at Book Bonanza, so I figured I'd pick this up and read it, see if it was any good. And the last book I got is Consequences by Aletha Romig. I think that's how you say it. Probably not. I probably just butchered that. But anyway, this is her very first book that she ever wrote. I know I have one other book by her that I recently just got, and this one is signed as well, so I figured I would go ahead and give that one a try. I started listening to the audiobook of Beartown by Frederick Backman, and I know that he is like a super beloved author. Everybody really likes him. I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I got to 20% and I think I rolled my eyes like every other chapter. It was over dramatic. It was boring. I think in my Goodreads review, I just wrote that watching paint dry would be more fascinating. So I had to DNF that one. I'm sorry. I know that was on my list to read by the end of the year. I've heard wonderful things about that author. I've never read any of his stuff. I don't know if maybe, I don't know. It seemed really juvenile to me. It might get better, but after 20%, life is way too short to start reading books that you don't enjoy. I'm a firm believer in if you don't like it, why read it? Reading is supposed to be for enjoyment. And so I went ahead and I've DNF'd that. All right, so today is Thursday, November 7th. And I literally stayed up all night, all morning long, reading War by Laura Thalassa. I finally finished the book around 5 a.m. and it kept me interested, obviously. I literally stayed up all night. I read it in one day, but I will say that as beautiful as the story was, as well written as it was, I wasn't as connected to the characters in this story as I was in the first book. With Petulance, I really felt connected to both him and his love interest, whereas with War and Miriam, I didn't feel their connection as much. It felt a little insta-lovey to me. I wasn't as emotionally invested at all. Like, I didn't cry, but maybe like once towards the end of the book, whereas with Petulance, I like literally cried every other chapter, no joke. So I don't know if it was just me. I mean, it was a beautifully written story. I loved every aspect of it. The description and the way that Laura writes is just wonderful. I really enjoyed the book. Don't get me wrong. I gave it a 4 stars. I didn't feel the chemistry between the two characters. That's all it was. And I'm a very character-driven reader. I have to be emotionally invested in what I'm reading. That's why I read as much romance as I do, because I love character-driven stories. I just do. And I mean, it is what it is. I still really enjoyed the story. I truly suggest that you read it. The whole series is wonderful so far. I cannot wait for the next book with Famine. That's going to be a really interesting read, I am sure. So I picked up It Ends With Us. I'm reading it now. I finally decided that I am ready. And I'm nervous. I'm still nervous about it because I've heard such good things that I'm actually like, even now that I'm reading it, I'm still nervous about it because I've been highly anticipating the story. I know it's going to break my heart. I've heard such good things about it that it's a little daunting to start. I have started it. I am going to read it right now. I am also listening to the audiobook of K.A. Tucker's, God, why can't I remember that title? Anyway, K.A. Tucker's new book, something about Still Love Me, or I don't know, whatever, the newest one by K.A. Tucker. I'm listening to the audiobook of that. I just started. I'm about 10% of the way through that one. Sorry if I'm a little shaky. Once again, I'm, just holding it with my hand, so I'm sure it's not perfect. Okay, so on to the next business. Oh, and by the way, I am liking K.A. Tucker's new book. As of right now, it's really interesting. The main character is a brat, but she's funny. And that's one thing about K.A. Tucker that I've noticed, is that she writes women who are interesting and funny, but they all seem to be a little vain almost, or they there's always like they're flawed. All of her female main characters are flawed, and I actually really enjoy that. But that's something I've come to expect with a K.A. Tucker book. Okay, so I was looking on Amazon, and I saw that they were having a sale on certain books, and so I had to go ahead and pick up some books, of course. So the first ones I picked up, I've heard a lot of wonderful things about this author, and I don't know if this book is on sale or if that's just how she normally prices them. I'm guessing it's probably on sale though. It's by Brianna Hill, and this is a new to me author, but I've heard really good things about it. This first one is The Protégé by Brianna Hill, and this is kind of a daddy-daughter situation, which I've never read a book like that, so that's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be a little more dark, but it says he's always protected me since I was 8 years old, the neglected girl he took off the street and raised as his own. Laszlo can feel what music needs instinctively. He can tell what I need. My world shattered the night of my 18th birthday, and he still hasn't forgiven me for what I did. I'm not asking him to love me, touch me, take me to bed. What I want goes deeper than that, and I have to say this out loud because it's one thing that music won't be able to tell him. I want what only Laszlo can give me. I want to be his protege again, and this time I'm going to be so good for him. So this is going to be a different read for me, but we'll see. I've heard really good things about this author. It's going to be different. I also went ahead and picked up Control Freak. Both of these books were like under $8. So I got a pretty good deal on them. This one is Total Control. I need it in every aspect of my life. Some would say that makes me an asshole, a freak, but as long as everything's exactly how I want it, I'm completely flexible. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm not kidding. Lacey needs someone in her life who's bigger and scarier than her anxieties, and she wants that man to be me, her boss, the Viking in a suit. I hope she understands what she's getting into. This daddy isn't going to pat her on the head and tell her she's a good girl for nothing, especially not when she's spinning out of control. So, these are obviously all kind of daddy issue books that I've never read. This one, it's obviously going to be a little more on the smutty side, which I'm okay with. I'm cool with, as long as it's like a decent story. We'll see. New to me author, so I figured I would go ahead and try something a little different, and I went ahead and picked those up. The next book that I got is Discretion by Karina Hawley. This book was $7.50 on sale on Amazon, brand new. And this one is about a girl who is a student in France, and she's poor, and so she is like in kind of a shitty area of town, and anyway, she makes a wrong turn, and I guess she gets hurt or something and wakes up in like this real luxury hotel, and it ended up being that this guy who saved her is like an heir to a big fashion line, and he's super rich, and it's supposed to be their love story. It sounds a little cliche, but it also sounds cute, and this is an author that's going to be at Book Bonanza, so I figured I'd pick it up and read a couple of her books before I meet her. The last book that I got on Amazon is a pre-order, and I'm not even gonna lie, I totally forgot that I pre-ordered this, but I'm super excited that I did. It's called Dirty Letters by V. Keelan, or is it Vi Keelan? I think it's V. Keelan, and Penelope Ward. That cover is just, something about that cover, guys. He's hot. Okay, so this book looks super interesting. It is about pen pals as kids. Griffin Quinn was my childhood pen pal, the British boy who couldn't have been more different from me. Over the years, through hundreds of letters, we became best friends, sharing our deepest, darkest secrets, and forming a connection I never thought could break, until one day it did. Then, out of the blue, a new letter arrived, a scathing one with 8 years of pent-up anger. I had no choice but to finally come clean as to why I stopped writing. Griffin forgave me, and somehow we were able to rekindle our childhood connection, only now we were adults, and that connection had grown to a spark. Our letters quickly went from fun to flirty to downright dirty. revealing our wildest fantasies. So it's only made sense that we would take our relationship to the next level and see each other in person. Only Griffin didn't want to meet. He asked that I trust him and said it was for the best. But I wanted more Griff in the flesh. So I took a big chance and went looking for him. People have done crazier things for love, but what I found could change everything. That looks super good, and I really want to pick that one up soon and read it. That is what I am doing and reading right now. Tomorrow I am going to a new bookstore. It's like a secondhand bookstore that is opened up in, like, I don't know, it's close to Edmond, I think, Edmond, Oklahoma. And I'm going with one of my good friends. Haven't seen her in quite a while, and I'm super excited. She invited me to come out book shopping with her, so we're gonna go there and maybe to Half Price Books. So maybe I will bring y'all along, hopefully, but I cannot wait to go hang out with her. And yeah, that is what has been going on in my life this week. I will update y'all later. Hello. So today is Friday, November the 8th, and I just got back from an awesome day. I got to hang out with one of my really close friends, Cassie. I hadn't seen her in quite a while, and so she contacted me on Facebook and was like, hey, here's this new bookstore. It's called Second Chance Books and Comics was the name of it, Second Chance. And she said, hey, why don't we go and get together and go book shopping? So, of course, you know, who am I to decline book shopping? So I went, and we had an awesome time. We ended up going there, and then we went to Half Price Books across town in Oklahoma City, and then I went to my typical Half Price book south side of Oklahoma City that I normally go to. So I went to 3 bookstores today, and I'm going to go ahead and show you my finds. The first 3 books that I picked up at Second Chance is all by the same author, and it's in the same series. It's At Any Moment by Brianna Aubrey. I've never read any of these books, but this author is going to be a book bonanza this next year. And this was one of the ones on my list that I wanted to read. So At Any Moment, At Any Turn, and At Any Price. These were $5 a piece. They aren't in like the best shape, as you can tell. They're kind of off a little, but these books do look really good, and it was one of the book series, like I mentioned, that I've been wanting to read. So for $5 a piece, I figured I might as well go ahead and pick those up. After that, we went to, like I mentioned, the Half Price Books. This is a new Half Price Books. I've never been to it before because it is on the north side of town, and I'm not really familiar with that area. But while I was there, they did have a sale. It was 40% off your highest priced item. And so whenever I was there, I went ahead and picked up the Bromance Book Club, and I am so excited. My most anticipated reads of the year. I cannot wait to dive into this one. As I'm sure you all know about this one, it is about a guy who is married and they're in a rough patch in their marriage right now. And he's trying to win his wife back. So he joins a book club, and as they're reading the book, he is starting to, I guess, act out certain scenes and trying to be more romantic with his wife. And that just sounds like my cup of tea. It sounds so cute. I cannot wait to get into this book. While I was there, I also went ahead and found J.R. Ward Immortal in hardcover. This is the only J.R. Ward book that is in hardcover that I do not have. I have the European cover of this, so I have like the tall trade paperback version of it, but I didn't have the actual hardback. And whenever I saw this for $8, I had to go ahead and grab it. And so that is the next book that I purchased. So after I hung out with Cassie, I went ahead and made my way across town to my other half-price bookstore. This is the store that I always go to. And while I was there, I found The Beautiful. It's a signed copy by Renee Audier. I've heard mixed reviews about this. I've heard some people who absolutely love this book, and I've heard some that didn't, but it is about vampires, and it's something that I cannot wait to get into. I'm ready to see what my own opinion is on this book. And I found 3 indie authors that I've kind of heard of, but not really. But these books looked good. I have Unconscious Hearts by Harper Sloan. All of these books just so happen to be signed. So whoever put those in, they were all signed, so that's awesome. This one says, Ari Daniels didn't count on her whole world tumbling down. A bet in one steamy night with a stranger. What happens when 2 broken souls come together? So, that looks good. The next book I picked up, and I am excited for this one. This one looks really good. It is My Week with the Bad Boy, and it is by Brooke Cumberland and Lyra Parrish. And I'm just going to read this one because this sounds so good. It says, never trust a man who answers the front door wearing nothing more than a pair of low-cut jeans and a panty-milking smirk. That should have been my first sign. I write about guys just like him for a living. Sexy and charming, yet reluctant to get into a serious relationship. His body screams sex appeal, but his condescending personality makes him a classic fuck boy, and I want nothing to do with that. Writing romance novels comes with its perks. Traveling, meeting new people, creating characters from the voices in my head. But Ethan Rochester enters my life and rearranges all my preconceived notions about writing who inspire me. About writing who inspires you. 1 week is all it took. 1 week to realize that not everything is as it seems. 1 week with the bad boy, and I wanted more. Oh my gosh, this looks so good, and that cover is so hot, and I'm ready to read this by the end of this year, guys. This is going to be one of my next reads. Okay, last book. This one also looks really good. Okay, I know. I'm a sucker. I can't help it. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. This one looks just super cute. I've never heard of it. It's called Dating in the Dark by Alexandra Bishop. And it says, call center girl by day. And this is the part where I say I do something super mysterious and exotic by night. Yeah, not so much. With the big 3-0 looming its ugly head around the corner, my best friend and my married and very pregnant sister have decided that I need a life. One that includes the opposite sex. Or else continue on and become the old spinster they say I am. It was all in jest until they set me up with a blind date. Literally. Speed dating. In the dark. With a stranger. What were they thinking? 15 minutes. That's all you get to find the one man of your dreams. Oh yeah, that'll go over about as well as a nun in a strip club. Playing along might not be so bad. Besides, what's the worst that could happen? It's not like I'll actually end up falling in love. Okay. That looks good. So, those were the books that I bought today. I've got to quit buying because I'm literally running out of room and money. So I'm gonna have to stop, but I don't know how. Help. Help, guys. Make me stop. All right. Tell me what you think. I am super excited about all the books that I've bought. Now I need to go and get reading. All right, so quick update, guys. I am 33% of the way through Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. I'm listening to the audiobook of this. I am enjoying the audiobook a lot. I highly suggest if you're wanting a quick listen, or not quick, this book is not short at all, but it's good. So that's something that I do recommend right now. I'm really liking it. It's a very good storyline. I like the main girl. I like the main guy. I'm ready to move on and get into the series more. I don't want to put it down. I'm really enjoying it. I'm also about 10% of the way through It Ends With Us, and I am getting through it. It's still a little daunting to me, I'm not gonna lie. So I want to read it, but I'm still nervous to read it because this is one of the most anticipated books, like, for me altogether. So for me to read this, I'm so nervous that I'm not going to like it, but so far it's good, so we'll see. So that is what I'm reading right now. So today is Saturday, and I finished the audiobook for Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. I really enjoyed this audiobook. It is about Piper and Kyle. And so you get a history of them whenever they're 17 years old and they meet for the first time at a summer camp where they're counselors. And then it goes forward 13 years. It goes forward 13 years when they're adults and they haven't seen each other since then. Kyle is your typical 2000s boy with the lip ring and the mohawk or faux hawk, and gorgeous, and he's kind of like the hot guy. Whereas Piper is the new girl. She is incredibly attractive, incredibly rich, and her mother thinks that it's going to be good for her to go to the summer camp that she went to as a child. And so Piper and Kyle develop this bond over the summer, and that's her first love, the person that she just kind of can't get over. Well, 13 years later, he ends up going to work at the security of her job. See, the thing is that she is a real estate developer's daughter, and her father is kind of a big wig, like I said, very rich, kind of, I guess, a Trump version, if you would say. Her father is very high-powered, and so she is being groomed to take over the family business, and she sees Kyle again and immediately is super excited to see him, and then he pretends he doesn't know who she is. He calls her by another name, acts like he doesn't even remember her at all, and it's their love story, it's their reconnecting. So in this book, you get glimpses of then, whenever they're 17 years old and falling in love, versus now, them as adults. And it is so cute and so sweet, and it was just, I gave this book 5 stars, and it was even more so for me because I'm a very emotional reader, I'm a very character-driven reader, but this book was nostalgic for me in the sense of I had my first love whenever I was 17 years old at a youth camp. And so it brought back all of those feelings of just meeting that person. And there's something that's always about your first love. And I had a summer that was similar, but I mean, we weren't in like youth camp or summer camp all summer. We met during a 1-week summer camp, and we came back, and it was a whole group of us, and we spent that entire summer together, like every single day, and it just brought back all of those feelings. So I thoroughly love this book. I gave it a 5 stars. It was adorable, and I loved it. So that is what I read today. I have now read 3 books this week, and I am now reading It Ends With Us. I'm still reading it. I am going to make that my priority. I did also get to pick up the audiobook of Well Met, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. Everybody's been talking about it on BookTube, but this is about a girl who meets a guy at a Renaissance festival. So that is going to be my next read, and we'll see how that one goes. But that is what has been going on today, and I will update y'all soon.